You know what he thinks, it's no mystery. He remembers you and it bothers him. Your presence, though distant, is a constant reminder, a shadow that doesn't fade. He avoids contact, but the mind doesn't obey. He thinks, diverts, gets frustrated, blames himself. And you exist, reverberate, impact, don't disappear. It's simple. The strength of the memory is a weapon, and he knows that. As much as he tries to run away, your image remains. Not because he wants to, but because he can't forget. The bond persists because you are present in his memory, not by the strength of love, but by the intensity of the memory you left. Each shared moment is an echo that doesn't cease. Every word, every laugh, every lived instant turns into a weight he carries. What should be light becomes a burden. You don't need to do anything, you've already done it. The truth is clear, it troubles him. You are unforgettable, and he hates that. This impact is yours. Each of his thoughts is a recognition of your mark, and while he fights against this reality, you remain here. There is no salvation nor consolation in your memories. Only the certainty that it is a powerful weapon and that he is a hostage to it. The reality has already been presented. But don't be mistaken. Memory is a double-edged sword. What may be an echo for you can be the very poison for him. There is no clear control, just a distorted game of power where the fragility of the mind prevails. He tries to forget, seeks distractions, repeats patterns. And you persist in the image, project emotions, resonate. This is not a cycle, it is a prison. Meanwhile, life continues around you. Other faces, new interactions, but nothing fills the void that the memory left. Each attempt to move forward is sabotaged by the insistence of the past. He finds himself surrounded by shadows that dance around the memories. Each corner brings a new trigger. You appear in songs, in places, in the dullest conversations. Your presence is a shadow that never leaves, a continuous reminder that weighs more and more each day. The weight becomes unbearable. The internal struggle between the desire to forget and the inability to let go is incessant and exhausting. The truth is this: the memory, instead of being a source of joy, transforms into a cruel reminder of what was lost. The intensity of past interactions turns into a burden, and nostalgia gives way to melancholy. He wishes to rid himself of this burden, but the attachment to what was experienced is part of the fabric of his identity. You have become an inseparable fragment of his story. Now, he lives in a limbo, where memories of you define him but offer no solace. What should be a comfort turns into torment. He avoids contact, but the mind does not obey. The fear of reunion is eclipsed by the inevitability of thought. Meanwhile, you continue, like a puppet without strings, moving independently of his actions. And you don't need to do anything. The impact is intrinsic. You are not here, but you occupy an immense space in his psyche. The absence is what screams the loudest. The idea that you could be there but are not is a constant pain, a backbone of regret. The struggle is internal. He knows he cannot escape the trap he built. And when he finds himself in new relationships, the shadow of who you are presents itself. Comparisons arise like ghosts. No one seems to fill the space you occupied. Each touch, each laugh, feels like a diluted version of what was. Déjà vu sets in. Conversations do not flow. The looks are empty. The battle continues. He seeks distractions, finds new opportunities, but deep down you remain. Each new bond is a reminder of what has not been overcome. At the same time, he sees himself repeating mistakes. He becomes emotionally barren, incapable of truly opening up to anyone. The fear of disappointment is greater than the desire for connection. You don't need to, but still, you are present. An invisible force that calls him back. It's like a magnet that attracts and repels. The confusion grows. What could have been forgotten turns into a silent obsession, an internal torture. Love turns into something more toxic, a dependence on the past that does not dissolve. He savors the bitter taste of longing, a mix of pain and pleasure. He allows himself to remember the sensation of touch, the way you laughed, those moments of pure connection. But soon reality imposes itself again. What is a memory turns into lament. He blames himself over and over for not doing more, for letting everything come to an end. And so life moves on. You are at every corner, in every whisper, and he continues to fight against reality. The truth is that he is a prisoner of what does not fade away. The weight of your mark, the intensity of your memory, all of this shapes his current experience. But you are not here to comfort him. You don't need to. Just remain, like the shadow that never dissipates, while he deals with the reflection of his own choices. The past is a burden, and you have become part of it. Reality has already been presented, and he finds himself trapped in a labyrinth of memories, each corner more suffocating than the previous one. Reality is relentless. While desperately seeking new beginnings, the memory of you infiltrates each new attempt. He struggles to open his heart, but the fragility of his emotions becomes a barrier. New interactions are a strange dance between hope and the inevitability of failure. He tries to ignore it. The more he runs away, the more your presence intensifies. Each new look is met with distrust. Each laugh sounds like a distant echo of lost joy. Fear consumes him. The feeling that no one will understand what you meant traps you. You have become an enigma, a constant that never leaves his mind. The hours drag on. Everyday life is a bitter repetition. The routine becomes a vicious cycle that feeds his nostalgia. He wants to know what it would be like if you were still by his side. The image of you two together appears in his thoughts like an illusion, a dream that never comes true. This life he builds without you seems empty. He continues to wake up day after day with the weight of what was not said, of what was not done. He revisits old conversations, moments that were never properly valued. The unspoken words become deafening echoes. He questions himself about decisions, about what could be different, and meanwhile time moves forward, impassive. The past becomes more distant, but the pain remains embedded. In moments of solitude, he finds himself immersed in memories. He looks at old photos and the memories resurface like shadows. Every smile, every hug, every tear shared transforms into a knife that cuts deep. The connection that was once sublime is now just an agonizing reminder. He feels anger at himself, anger at you, but mostly anger at time that cannot be turned back. And when someone tries to get close, he hesitates. The emotional barrier he has built is almost insurmountable. The fear of new things makes him retreat. The guilt of having let everything slip away haunts him. He watches life pass by around him as if he were a spectator in a sad movie. New faces become mere characters in an unsatisfactory plot. You remain the standard. Every smile from another person, every loving gesture brings comparisons to the surface. No one can reach the essence of what was. Love becomes a shadow, something that should be forgotten but persists. He engages in superficial relationships, keeping emotional distance. The initial chemistry soon fades away, and the lack of depth leaves him frustrated. He wonders, will he ever be able to love again? The days accumulate, and the answer seems as distant as you. Deep down, he knows he needs to face this internal battle, but every time he tries to move on, the weight of the past pulls him back. The struggle is uneven. Between the need to forget and the pressure of memories, he finds himself lost in an endless cycle. To others, he is an ordinary man, but inside, he is a battlefield. Every relationship is a new test, a new risk of getting hurt. He tries to be strong, but he feels exhausted. And when night falls, he faces the deepest loneliness. The silence is deafening. The emptiness of his bed only accentuates your absence. The image of you invades his thoughts, becoming a vivid portrait of longing. What should be rest turns into torture. He finds himself thinking of you, reliving moments that mark his soul. The laughter that echoes in his mind, the way your eyes sparkled, all of it weighs heavily on his heart. These memories bring no comfort, not even a semblance of happiness. They are chains that bind him. Each memory is a reminder of the decision he didn't make, the words he didn't say, the action he didn't take. You become a sad idol in his mind, a lost love that is revered but cannot return. He continues to alternate between anger and longing, the mixture of the two creating a poison that corrodes slowly. The relationships crumble and the guilt consumes him. But deep down, he knows that this battle can only be won by him. Only he has the power to break the chains. And so life goes on. Other faces will appear. Other stories will be told. But the stark truth is that you are an indelible part of his narrative, a shadow that will always be present, shaping what he will become. There is no return. Reality has already been presented, and he just watches, aware that his choices have led him here. He finds himself among new faces, but none of the interactions seem real. It's like trying to touch a mirage. something that glows in the distance, but as you get closer, it dissolves into dust. Life moves forward superficially, and the emptiness only intensifies. Every shared smile carries the weight of comparison. Every touch feels the space of what was. And as he tries to move on, a new layer forms in his pain, the inability to open up. He watches others, notices how they allow themselves to love, to surrender, but he remains hesitant. The fear of disappointment silences him. The desire to connect is suffocated by the constant memory of you, which becomes a standard of comparison. The conversations are empty. The looks lack depth. He feels like a ghost wandering among those trying to get close. At the same time, an unreal expectation sets in, the belief that somehow you will return. And when someone mentions your name, the atmosphere changes, the environment weighs heavier. A shiver runs down his spine. The idea that there could be a reunion wounds his soul. He wants to believe that it's possible that you could rewrite history, but reality pulls him down. He remains inert, because the risk of risking again seems greater than the pain of solitude. The calendar moves forward, but his mind clings to the past. In moments of lucidity, he realizes the self-destructive cycle he has built. The repetition of memories transforms into a self-destructive mantra, something that eats away at him from the inside. Each day he distances himself more from what he could become, and the nights are even crueler. The silence of the room echoes his torment. He lies down thinking about you, about the promises that were never kept, about the dreams you shared under the blanket of stars. The memories become specters that visit him in moments of solitude. The way you smiled, the softness of your touch, how everything once seemed so right, but none of that returns. The present disintegrates before a past that refuses to die. He tries to fill this space with new activities. He buys books, starts new hobbies, seeks anything that can divert his attention, but there is always a point of return. A moment when the distractions fade away, and he finds himself surrounded by memories that keep him captive. At social events, he forces himself to smile, but inside, he struggles. Often, he looks for people who might be substitutes, but no one measures up. Each new encounter brings up the image of you like a shadow that never dissipates. He feels anger for having built this emotional prison, but the predominant feeling is guilt. Guilt for not having done more, for not having fought hard enough. And when the phone rings, hope lights up. He imagines it could be you, that maybe, finally, the past will meet the future. But reality quickly knocks him down. It's not you, it is just someone trying to offer support. And that frustrates him. The shyness that emerges in his interactions intensifies. He wonders if he will ever be able to love someone completely, or if he will remain trapped in this labyrinth of eternal recollections. Time is not a healer. It is an executioner that makes him relive the same pain day after day. Amid the gaps of new relationships, he finds himself repeating old mistakes, projecting expectations that do not match reality. The days go by, but the internal struggle becomes more intense. The line between longing and despair blurs, and he wonders if one day he will be able to look back without feeling the sharp pain of what he lost. Each birthday, each holiday, each significant event that arrives without you is a piercing reminder. He tries to look away, to find alternatives. However, the truth does not disappear. You are an indelible part of his narrative. He becomes aware that the absence is not just an empty space. It is a mark, an echo that continues to shape his decisions, his choices, his life. And so he walks through daily interactions like an actor in a role that he doesn't feel comfortable in. The stage is lit, but the play is poorly written, and the lines repeat without true meaning. As he observes the relationships of others, a new layer of resentment forms. He wishes they would live what he felt, understand the depth of love, but at the same time, he hopes they never go through the pain he faces. It's an emotional contradiction. The weight of expectations creates an even greater burden, and life goes on. The world turns and the routine advances, but inside him time stands still, waiting for the day you appear again, as if that would bring back the happiness that is gone. Even knowing that this is an illusion, he clings to hope, because in the end, you have become the essence of his struggle. The truth has already been presented, and he knows he has to decide whether to continue living in the shadow of what he lost or find the courage to break free from this invisible prison.